The last class continuation, default parameters, default arguments are parameters. Programmer or developer to assign the values to the parameters at the time of function definition, type of arguments are called default arguments. The programmer or developer to assign the values to the parameters at the time of function definition. The type of arguments are called default arguments. Function, here I am taking as x value 1 and the y value is 2. Z equal to x plus y, print of z. The programmer or developer to assign the values to the parameters at the time of function definition. The type of arguments are called default arguments. First scenario I am calling add function. In that situation, the post argument value is passing to post parameter x and the second value is passing to second parameter y. In that situation, x plus y means 4 plus 5 to give the output as 9. Second scenario, I am calling add function. Here I am passing only one value. By default, this value is passing to first parameter. Now x value is 4. Here we are not passing any y value. What is the default value of y? Default value of y is 2. 4 plus 2, 6. Third scenario, I am calling add function. At the time of function calling, we are not specifying any value. Go to function definition. In that function definition, x value is 1 and y value is 2. 1 plus 2, 3. That is the output. Function calling lo values the function definition of the function definition we cannot assigning any value, we will get the error message. Next one, mixing of both non-default and default arguments. Mixing of both non-default and default arguments. Okay, now here X is a non-default and Y is a default. First scenario 4 plus 5 9 and the second scenario 4 plus 2 6. Okay, this is a non-default and this is a default argument. Next one, mixing of both default and the non-default arguments. Now this is a default argument and this is a non-default argument. In the previous example, X is a non-default and Y is a default. Now X is a default and Y is a non-default. Now observing very clearly. Now here we will get one error message. Non-default argument follow the default argument. Non-default arguments follow the default arguments. The non-default arguments never don't follow the default arguments. The non-default arguments never don't follow the default arguments.
Sir, could you please repeat this statement and by explaining because it's a bit confusing.
Okay, don't take first default arguments. First, we need to take all the non-default argument, then only we need to take the default arguments. But here I am taking as a first one as a default argument. Okay, here one syntax error. What is that syntax error? In your program, the non-default argument follow the default arguments. That means this is a non-default argument. It is follow the which one? Default argument. Actually, the non-default argument never don't follow the default arguments. Whenever we can violate this rule, we will automatically will get the syntax error. Okay, both are same, these two statements, but this is a condition. The non-default arguments never don't follow the default arguments. Whenever we are violate this rule, automatically we will get this type of syntax errors. Okay, if you interest, we can take both the mixing of default and non-default. First, we need to defining all the non-default, then only we need to take the default argument. Okay, previous example, only this pattern we are following. This is a non-default. Next one, default. Next one, non-keyword arguments. Non-keyword arguments. The programmer or developer don't assign the parameter to the parameter to the arguments. The programmer or developer don't assign the parameter to the arguments at the time of function calling. The type of arguments are called non-keyword arguments. The programmer or developer don't assign the parameter to the arguments at the time of function calling. The type of arguments are called non-keyword arguments. Completed. Now observing very clearly. In this situation, we are discussing about at the time of function calling. X comma, Shiva comma, Y. Okay, at the time of calling the function, we need to specify these parameters to these arguments. Simply we can passing I and next one. Okay, it is similar to non-default, but difference is non-default we are discussing about at the time of function definition. Non-keyword we are discussing about at the time of function calling. That is the difference. In the function calling, we cannot specify this parameter to this argument. Okay, by default, the first argument is passing to first parameter. The second argument is passing to second parameter. This type of arguments are nothing but a non-keyword arguments. The programmer or developer don't assign the parameter to the arguments at the time of function calling. The type of arguments are called non-keyword. Okay, now keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. The programmer or developer to assign the parameter to the arguments at the time of function calling. But the type of arguments are called keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. The programmer or developer to assign the parameter to the arguments at the time of function calling. The type of arguments are called keyword arguments. Now observing very clearly which argument is passing to which parameter, we can specify them manually. That is called keyword arguments. Okay. This type of arguments are nothing but a keyword arguments. These arguments we are calling as which arguments? Non-keyword arguments. Okay, that is the difference. Are you clear? Here I am taking as a y equal to
Sorry, is it possible to mention one keyword and one non-keyword arguments in the same function call.
Later I'm explaining.
Okay, thank you.
Next one, mixing of both non-keyword and the keyword arguments. Mixing of both non-keyword and the keyword arguments. Now observing very clearly, here I is a non-keyword and good morning is a keyword argument. Right. This one. Now observing very clearly, hi is a non-keyword and good morning is a keyword argument. Mixing of both keyword and non-keyword arguments. Mixing of both the keyword and the non-keyword arguments. Now, this is a keyword argument and this is a non-keyword argument. In this example, hi is a keyword and good morning is a non-keyword. Completed. Now observing very clearly, you get the error message. Positional argument follow the keyword argument. Positional or non-keyword both are same. Syntax error. Positional or non-keyword both are same. Arguments keyword arguments. Positional arguments follow the keyword arguments. Follow the keyword arguments. The positional or non-keyword arguments never don't follow the keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. If you want to take the combination of keyword and non-keyword, first we need to defining all the non-keyword, then only we need to take keyword. Next one, the normal arguments takes exactly one value at a time. The normal arguments takes exactly one value at a time. Now observing very clearly. I'm defining one function f1. Here I'm taking as one parameter x. Print of x. At the time of calling that function, I'm not passing any value. In that situation, we get the error message f1 missing one required positional argument x. Second example, observing. Now I am passing 4, 5. More than one value I am passing. In that case, F1 takes one position argument, but we are passing 2. Okay, here I am passing only one value, so it is executed. That means the normal argument takes exactly only one value. Next one, the normal argument type is depends on the normal argument type is depends on value of that argument. The normal argument type is depends on value of that argument. Value of that argument. For suppose here I am finding the type. Now what is that value? Input value 4. 4 is an integer. At that time our argument type is integer. For suppose 2.3, in that situation type of x is float. For suppose I am passing f1 of 4j, in that situation complex. Next one, f1 of I am passing one boolean value, in that case the type is bool. For suppose I am passing f1 of string Shiva, the situation type is str. F1 of I am passing list object 5372. Okay, observing very clearly, this entire list will be treated as a one argument. Arguments are separated by comma. We can take comma, we can take another value, that is a multiple arguments. Okay, we can passing one list object. That list object contains any number of elements, but internally that entire list will be treated as a one argument. In Python, we can assign any object as a parameter to the function. That means argument, either like as a list format or tuple format or dictionary format or string format. We can pass any object. F1 of I am passing tuple object. Next one, F1 of I am taking as a set of. Next one, F1 of I am taking as a dictionary. Name equal to our name. Okay. In Python, we can assign any object as a parameter to the function. Next one, our normal argument type is depends upon our input values. Okay, now we will discussing arbitrary arguments. Arbitrary arguments. The arbitrary arguments takes 0 or more values.
అంటే నాకు అర్థమైపోయింది దాంతోనే ఈవెన్ నీ వైపు కన్నెత్తి కూడా చూడలేను అంటే దానికి ఈగో హట్ అయిపోయింది. ఎవరికి సిరికి ఎవరికి ఉండాల్సింది ఆడుకుంటది.
By default, arbitrary arguments. By default, the arbitrary arguments type is tuple. By default, the arbitrary argument type is tuple. TAF function name. Okay, arbitrary argument represented single star symbol. Okay, without star, that is a normal argument. Single star representation, that is arbitrary. It takes 0 or more values. But normal argument compulsory one value is required. Now it is valid or invalid? It is valid because this is a which argument? Arbitrary. Arbitrary takes 0 or more values. By default, arbitrary argument type is tuple. Okay, this is the arbitrary argument. Next one, another example.
Sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Oh, sir, in the output, why the parenthesis is printed, sir?
This is an arbitrary argument. Arbitrary argument written as a which format? Tuple format. 0 or more values. By default, type is tuple.
Okay, sir, tuple. Okay, sir, the type is okay.
Yeah.
But whereas in the calling of function, there are no any parameters and
That's why
arguments.
empty tuple. This is empty tuple object.
Oh, okay, okay. If the values are there or not, it prints the tuple.
Yeah, that argument always representing tuple. Empty tuple representation, empty parenthesis. Empty
Okay,
list object means empty square brackets.
Okay, sir.
Now, for suppose I am passing 3, one value I am passing. In that situation, that is also valid, but that value will be represented at tuple format, comma. Comma representation, tuple allows more than one element also possible. Okay, that comma symbolic representation, it allows more than one element also possible. Now I'm passing 2, 8, 7, 5. We can pass more than one element also possible. By default, these all values should be represented as a which format? Tuple format. Okay, already we were discussing tuple object is a which object? Immutable object. It allows both mutable and immutable. Next one, tuple allows both homogeneous and heterogeneous elements. This is the one example for homogeneous elements. All type of elements are integers. Or suppose I'm trying to passing different type of values. In that case also it is valid. That is a arbitrary argument. Arbitrary argument takes 0 or more values and any type of values. But by default, arbitrary argument type is tuple. Tuple allows both homogeneous and heterogeneous and both mutable and immutable elements. Next one, mixing of both normal and arbitrary arguments. Mixing of both normal and arbitrary arguments. And suppose here I am taking as x and the star y. Print of y comma type of y. Now it is valid or invalid?
Valid, sir.
It is a invalid because x is a which argument? Normal argument. Normal argument takes exactly one value, but here we are not passing any value to that normal argument. Now we'll get the error message F1 missing, one required Gaussian argument x value. Now here I am passing 4. Now it is valid or invalid? If it is valid, now this value is passing to x. At the time type of x is integer, but y is a arbitrary. It takes 0 or more values. We cannot specify any values. Now it will be written as a empty tuple. Two point 3, 4j, false, 9. Now it is valid or invalid? It is
Invalid.
valid. The first value is passing to first parameter x. At the time type of x is a float. Second argument is a which argument? Arbitrary. It takes 0 or more values. The remaining all values are passing to y. The type of y is tuple. Okay, the first argument is passing to first parameter x, and the remaining all arguments are passing to second argument y. Okay, y is arbitrary. It takes 0 or more values. Completed. Okay, we will discussing mixing of both normal and arbitrary. Now reverse order. Mixing of both arbitrary and normal arguments. Both mixing of both arbitrary and normal. Now observing very clearly. Now x is a arbitrary and y is a normal. Completed. Now what is the output? Error message. Because here x is a normal, that means arbitrary, it takes 0 or more values. But y is a normal argument, compulsory one value is required. You can write this example. Now what is the output? Okay, this value is passing to x, but y value is missing. Then immediately again f1 missing, one required keyword and argument y. Okay, same example. But suppose I am passing y equal to 4. Now what is the output? Valid or invalid? Okay, x is a which argument? That is arbitrary. It takes 0 or more values, don't require values. If you interest, we can pass the values. But y compulsory value is required. Now we can specify the y value. Okay. What is the output? Okay, this is a which argument? Arbitrary. Arbitrary takes 0 or more value. That means these all values are passing to x. Still y value is missing. Okay, f1 missing, one required keyword and argument y. how to handle that situation, we can specify the value to y manually. Where we can specify the manually to y, for suppose I'm defining here. Now what is the output? What is the output? It is valid or invalid? It is invalid. Already we will discussing keyword and non-keyword combination in the previous one. This is a which argument? Keyword argument. These all are non-keyword arguments. The non-keyword arguments don't follow the keyword arguments. Here we will get the error message, position argument follow the keyword argument. For suppose by mistakenly, I am trying to assigning y value here. Now what is the output? Again same error we are getting. This is a non-keyword argument. These non-keyword arguments follow the keyword argument. Okay. Already we will discussing, if you want to take the keyword argument, that keyword argument must be after the non-keyword arguments. Now here I am defining. Now these are all non-keyword arguments. Now this is a keyword arguments. These all values are passing to x. At that time type is tuple. This value is passing to y. The time is type is integer. Okay, if you want to take the combination of keyword and non-keyword, first we need to defining all the non-keyword, then only we need to define the keyword argument. Okay, this is the combination of keyword. That means which one? Normal and arbitrary arguments. In the normal arguments already we were discussing default and non-default, and the keyword and non-keyword arguments. Next one, KW args. The KW args takes 0 or more keyword arguments. By default, the KW args type is dictionary, dictionary. Def function name star. Okay, single star representation arbitrary, double star representation KW arguments. By default, KW argument type is dictionary. Okay, without any star, that is a normal. Single star, that is a arbitrary. Double star, that is a keyword arguments. KW args. Okay, KW means keyword. Okay. Now observing very clearly, now it is executed to give the output as a empty dictionary. Okay, KW args means Directly keyword and value we are passing. Name equal to I'm passing Shiva. Salary equal to I'm passing. Department number I'm passing. Now it will return a dictionary format. Commit or not? Okay. Next class we will discuss in continuation.